This video is about a special man named John. John's ultimate dream was to get his family out of New York City and to own a farm. And he moved out here to the country 30 years ago. It was a real treat to tour his farm and listen to John's life story. Come along with me and meet this self-proclaimed hillbilly fleeing New York City. And now his health is failing, and he asked Ken to help him sell his farm. It's a fascinating story. Don't forget to hit the like button and also subscribe and ring the notification bell. It helps the algorithm for the channel. It helps me make more programs for us to both enjoy. Please tell me what you think about this place. I love your ideas when you comment below. Okay. So this must be my new thing. We're going to get to drive together all these properties. We're just a few minutes away from this farm. This property hasn't been for sale for 30 or 40 years. The seller thinks it's 263, but it's going to be around there. It's going to be in the 700s. So whatever, it comes out to about $3,000 an acre. And for land like this, in this area, that's a bargain. Here's the deal. If it's too steep, or if it's too wooded, whatever, I mean, what's the value, right? If it's too steep, you can't even get on it. It's fine, but it's not $3,000 an acre. It's not $6,000 an acre. It's not $10,000 an acre land. And if it's all wooded, it can be straight up and down. We just got another one. It's 200 and some acres. And it's not straight up and down, but it's pretty steep. But it's got $500,000 worth of timber on it. So, you know, you tell me what the value is. This hasn't been timbered in 25 or 30 years. And it was only just, I think I was supposed to turn there. And it was just selectively cut. So it wasn't a big strip job or anything like that. It opens up the canopy. It allows the newer, younger, healthier trees to come shooting up. You got to timber. It's done properly with a forester, a licensed forester, who's got a degree in this stuff. You know, they know a lot more than I do about it. And this is a healthy thing to do, a healthy thing for your forest. It's called forest management. Otherwise, you have feet of junk at the bottom, what they call it, the leaves and all the debris, and then you have wildfires. It's going on right now. So you got to trust me. You got to do some cutting every now and then. How much you do is up to you and the forester. All right, you'd rather see this anyway than my ugly mug. I mean, if we're just driving down the road, we might as well talk to each other. They promised to bush hog this, and I don't know if we bush hogged it yet. But a bush hog is not that big of a deal. Well, they did. It's bush hog. Yay! I love your ideas when you comment below. What would you do with this property? Well, if you don't have a clue, I'll tell you what I would do, and then that might spark some ideas for you or not. I don't know. But this might make a nice house. It's 200 some acres. Could be a family compound. You give your kids 20 acres each or 5 acres in the front. Let them build a house. You build a house in the back, they can build a little house out front, whatever. Then that can go to the grandkids. That way you get the whole family around you and you got generational wealth instead of 18 years old, kick your butt out the house, then you got to start all over again. That's really not smart. Now, it works for a lot of people, but not my style. I'd rather my kids do well and then they can take care of me in the nursing home. Remember, I tell Cindy all the time, don't give me a 50-year-old nurse at the nursing home. I want 225s. That's funny. Come on now. I said to Cindy, I said, if anything ever happened to you, I said, I want 2 25-year-olds. She said, you can't afford it. I said, boy, ain't that the truth. There's a little creek down there. I'm going to show you all this stuff. This farm, you got about half open and about half wooded. Now, Ken says he thinks it might even be more than half wooded. Road. Arrived. But it's real close. If it is half wooded, or if it is more than half wooded, then it isn't by much. This is the seller. Let's see what he has to say. Hey, brother. Hey, man. What's going on?
Hanging out.
Hanging out. Good. Hanging out's a good thing. I'm Brad. I'm Ken's assistant.
Yeah, hi Brad.
Yeah.
I've seen you on TV. I mean, on the videos.
Yeah.
Before. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I was just hanging out. I wanted to give you another key to come in. I know this one works.
Okay.
And Ken said the other one didn't.
Okay.
I don't want this to leave the gate open or anything like that.
No, I don't do that.
There's too much here that could get stolen or damaged. I started bush hogging. You can see some of it was cleaned up. And my bush hog broke down. A part broke, but I just fixed it today. And I figure I'll bush hog a little more.
Well, they do that. They break every now and then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of this ground, I was over in that far area over there, and a lot of saplings I was taking out and stuff like that.
Sure.
So,
if you can push it over with the tractor, you cut it up, right?
oh, chop the I hit trees this big around, you know, knocking them down. Anyway, I figured you could explain it in your advertisement and then add to it if we do more bush hogging.
Sure, absolutely.
You know, I mean, this hillside here I have left because I got bees back here, and I wanted them to have late run for honey and
For honey. Mm-hmm.
You might want to go over to the creek and get pictures. There's some pretty awesome pictures down in there.
Really?
There's a cave in there, all right?
No way.
And it looks primeval, you know, with the forest and vines and everything. I think it's pretty awesome down there.
Yeah.
It'd be a big sell, you know, or something to sell the place with, you know, live creek and stuff. Or you could, I gave your partner the key to this other little gate here, going out. The one when you drove in, it was to your left there.
Okay.
Well, you can open that gate up and just drive.
And drive up there.
And get past the bridge and stuff. You can go pretty far up there until you have to stop.
And that's all on you.
Yeah,
that creek's on you.
Yeah, that's on me. The creek, my creek goes all the way around Harris Creek Road. And, I mean, I could show you if you want to take a ride.
Okay.
But if you're standing near that telephone pole and you look up back this way,
yeah,
you can kind of see the wood lines. And then you see my neighbor's field over here.
Okay.
So them woods are mine primarily. But it's real pretty down in there. And, you know, you got ferns and all that kind of stuff down there.
Well, I definitely want to get down there and take some pictures of it.
I wish I could venture. I mean, I can venture with you a little to give you some guidance. If you want to take a ride.
Yeah.
You know.
We can do that.
Yeah.
We can do that. Yeah.
Instead of me stopping and stuff, you know, I can be describing things to you. We'll do it in my truck, then you can finish up in yours.
Well, I could do that. Yep.
Is that all right?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
Have more cameras and stuff.
Yeah. Ken thought that maybe half of the land was wooded. Half of your place.
Well, to be honest with you, get back now. When I used to run cattle here, cattle would clean the place up.
Yeah, for sure.
And I figured I must have had about 110 acres for cattle and hay and stuff.
Okay.
I used to get 600 bales of hay off of this land. So what I did was I moved my cattle from field to field.
That's smart.
And
Rotational grazing.
yes, and I never needed water. I have city water that taps in down below, but I always use my creeks and stuff to water my livestock. Never needed water that way, which was a benefit. Now people stay away from that. They just get the county to help them get the city water over there. The water is.
Right. Look like fig trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Italian. I love figs.
Oh, yeah.
I just planted them too before I found out I was sick. Hopefully I get well. They're doing their best.
Oh, well, they know what they're doing today.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I got an Amish guy that hunts over here with me. He said, John, he says, if there's one dream in this world that I'd love to do, is buy your farm. I said, but I can't afford it. He said, but he says, I look at your farm the way you did. He says, and all the dreams I would have there. I said, that's what it does to you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's enchanting. It really is.
It opens up your mind to different things that can be done. And right now, it's not established, like meaning, hey, I'm buying a horse farm. It's got the barns and everything like that. From think it's going to be sold to the person that's selling their little wood house in New York City or something for $2 million, and they need to buy something and put their money somewhere.
Yep.
And build a house on it.
Yeah, I agree.
They're going to say, holy shit, I got my own domain.
Yeah, you got your own village here.
Yeah, I'll do what I want with it.
So when I came in, I was doing some taping, and I said, you know, who's going to buy this? You could buy this and give your kids 5 acres in the front, and you know, you can have your family right here.
That's what this.
Whose tree stand is that? Is that yours?
That's one of mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
The deer love to come out of that drawer down in there and walk up along the brush and the bluffs over to that direction. So my friend said, let's put a tree stand there. I'm a hunter.
Yeah. You get anything there in the spot?
Oh, all the time. Not in that spot, but he's right. I mean, many a time you'll drive in and see deer standing right there.
Wow.
I took big deer over here. Biggest deer I've hunted from Alaska to Mexico, and the biggest whitetail I ever seen was right on this land.
Really?
Yeah. I've hunted Canada, Maine, and biggest whitetail was back there where I showed you that drawer. Because that's a funnel between two fields.
Yeah.
And then bucks just stay back there. Now this is kind of neat to get down in there too. There's animal footprints and rock and everything down in there.
Really?
Yeah. I find all kinds of artifacts. This field that we just walked out of, I plowed it one time. I used to just run cattle along the edge here and then hay in the middle. And I plowed it one time and planted peppers. And I started finding chips and artifacts and all kinds of Indian stuff. And I said, this has been worked over here. And I started thinking, and I said, they had a village right here.
Really?
Because here's water, in front of you is water, behind you is water.
There you go.
It's dry up here. And I said, there's a swell right behind us that goes like this. Imagine it's covered with woods. They can shoot down into it and stay dry and safe up here. I said, I mean, I've seen a lot of sites and stuff. I used to take stuff that I found here to the archaeological department at UK. They were fascinated. They said, where are you finding this shit?
That's very interesting.
Now my road goes right back up here to the edge of them woods where you see that house begin.
Okay.
Now you could open this gate. Your partner should have a key for that gate.
Okay.
You can drive down through there. I actually own that too, but I'd have to get it deeded and stuff. I used to have this all fenced, but now over 30 years people tore it down. This is Bowen Creek.
All right, that's the Bowen Creek. Okay. That's pretty.
Now the best shots I think is if you're walking.
Okay.
You get just a pair of waders, walk up to the creek, and just come all the way around it and take your pictures. Now I mowed these fields last week sometime.
Cattle guard over the creek.
Yeah, that's a runoff, I call that, coming out of the knobs there.
How long have you owned this place?
30 years.
Wow.
To be honest, it was a real farm years ago. Had a house and everything, good barns. But over them 30 years, a lot of things has happened and changed.
Yeah.
You can see where I've cleared. It's starting.
I bet you 30 years ago you bought this place for a song and sang it yourself.
Yeah. What I paid for, it's nothing near what I'm asking for now.
Well, things go up.
Yeah.
That's normal.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Yeah, that's right. You know, if I would have invested, I had invested in New York real estate at the time, but divorce cleaned me out of that. And ex-wife, crooked lawyers. That's all. I wish I had all that real estate back.
Oh, yeah.
What it's worth today. And I just went in here the other day. This is where I damaged my bush hog. started chopping all them saplings up. It's a little rough. I'm not going to go in there. If you want, you can go in there walking. What I thought about doing was just maybe getting my cousin with a chainsaw and just have him walk around and start cutting to the stubs, you know, that I left.
Cut them flush to the ground.
Yeah, more flush, right. Right.
Because they'll pop the tire out. You don't want that.
I don't know how much I want to do. You know, right now I got other issues on my mind.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's for sure.
Still something. You know what? It'll be a project of love for somebody.
Oh yeah.
Somebody that gets this property's gonna love it. Now the property line's gonna keep going over. I mean, you can see all them little saplings growing. That's all mine. But I'm gonna drive in that other field up there. We can see better there.
Okay.
That milking barn was a functional barn when I bought the place. Everything. I had fencing everywhere. I've been pulling all the old fencing out. And between me and you, I've loved it in the wild.
Yeah.
I says, I don't need agriculture. You know, when you get retired, I says, what do I need to do? I says, I'm a happy trooper.
Right, exactly.
Piddle, that road coming up the road, I worked on that last year and I raised it 20 inches. You couldn't even get up with a four-wheeler.
Wow.
Yeah. Use that front loader, grab a scoop of rock, bring it up there, put the big ones on the bottom, smooth the rest out on the top, go get another load.
Yeah.
Well, there's only one spot that just because we got that real hard rain recently, it washed out there. Other than that, that road's in pretty good shape.
Yeah. Now this little creek here, is this the Harris Creek or no?
No, Harris Creek is down there.
It's the big one, okay.
Yeah. This is just a runoff. This will get pooled, you know. This will pool up with water in the summertime. Right now it's going to be wet because we got that rain.
We did get some rain, didn't we?
Yeah, and you see all this gravel here? What I'll do with that is I would take that gravel and put it on top of my road. Now that I've got the foundation of my road done.
Yeah, that's the key. It's the foundation, that base.
Yeah. This field, I'd say, is probably about 15 acres. I just mowed it the other day.
It's key to have a nice truck, isn't it?
Yeah. That other truck I got's my rough truck. She'll go anywhere. This one I favor a little more.
And now, is this the end of you here?
Yeah, that's the end of me there.
Okay.
My neighbor runs cattle on the other side.
You ever think about running cattle on this?
Turkey over there.
Oh yeah, it sure is. Four hens.
Yeah. This is a great cattle farm. When I used to run cattle, I ran 45 head first on to your left.
Please tell me what you think about this place. I love your ideas when you comment below.
This line, it runs straight up towards that highway there.
Okay. Good. That's good to know. When you ran cattle, did you make any money?
Nah. I ran a mixed herd, cow-calf operation. That's what my relatives always did.
Yeah.
But I ended up going to New York. And when I did, I sold out. It was just a bad time to sell everything. Prices had dropped through the floor.
Yeah.
I probably started out with about 28 head, something like that it was, 28, 29 head of cattle. And when I sold, I think it was 45 head, and I broke basically even.
Well, it's something fun to do, but it's also a lot of work.
I always liked fooling with livestock. I don't know, for being a city boy, I always had my hands in my relatives' farming and stuff. So I always knew what I was doing. But cattle's a business, you know, it ain't just for fun. You're looking to make money on it.
That's right. You're taking a risk.
Yeah. There's a good base of grass here. I'd say it could come back if a man put the time into mowing and stuff.
Yeah, that's the key, is to keep it mowed.
Yeah. I let it go the last few years. I had planted, well, me and another guy had planted 80 acres of soybean and corn for a few years here. This was all corn and soybean right here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's good. It's good dirt.
Yeah, it's good soil. It ain't the best, it ain't the worst. It's good, you know. Probably the last, I don't know, 5 years, 6 maybe. You know, I ain't done nothing with it. Just let it grow up.
Do you ever think about just leasing it out for grazing?
Yeah, I could. Well, grazing, it needs fencing, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
Somebody could put electric fence in. That's probably the cheapest way.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, most likely somebody, I'm sure I could get somebody to lease it for crops. Because then they just spray it and kill what's growing and plant their crops. Now over here I had a barn. I took that barn down. The only thing that's in there is the foundation of it. I never got to that yet.
Wow.
I was busting it up.
Well,
And every building I tore down here, I disassembled and carried right up there to a concrete pad. But because I said I don't want a nail in the ground when I'm done.
Yeah. Well, that's smart.
Well, it's also a lot of work, you know.
Yeah.
Lifting beams up on my shoulders and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't mind physical work. It was right there. When everything dies, you see it. Remember, 2 winters coming, so you're gonna see everything die, and it's gonna all clear up.
Yeah.
That might be second stage of pictures you might want to take or something. Now, when I went to bush hogging, it broke my heart because to me it was destroying habitat. You know, I mean, you wouldn't believe how many. I know I seen 500 rabbits.
Oh, yeah.
You know, eagles, everything flying around here. All kinds of bugs, birds of every kind.
You got eagles out here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brown ones. I've never seen no bald eagles. I had 2. I got it on film actually.
Yeah,
One of them coming down and fighting the snake.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's very cool.
Yeah, it was great.
We had an eagle by our house a couple months ago. I about made Daddy a diaper. I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
We've had osprey.
Well, I don't have. Now I get blue herons down at the creek here.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, there's plenty of them. They're really cool to watch too.
You know, I left that patch growing right there because I wanted it for the rabbits, and then Ken says, "Oh, you gotta mow that. You gotta mow that."
Oh yeah.
You know, too, when everything's mowed, people like it.
Oh
When
yeah.
everything ain't mowed, wildlife likes it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I had left it for wildlife, and
It's interesting.
Me getting sick, I said, man, you know, I want to try to maybe put some up for sale so my kids will have some.
Are they not interested in the farm?
Huh?
Are they not interested?
No, they'd rather have money, I guess. You know.
Yeah, but money goes away. The farm stays here forever.
Yeah. I got 3 daughters, and I've held on to this farm, and even when I ain't doing nothing with it, you know. I own all them, way back to them knobs back in there.
Okay. Yeah, 260 acres. How much is it?
263.
263. That's a big drink of water.
Yeah.
Now, Ken said he saw it where it was someplace at 217. Did you buy this and then add on to it?
No.
Okay.
I don't know what he's saying.
Wow.
No, 217. I mean, my deed says 263 plus or minus.
That's probably accurate.
Yeah. And I've walked the line here.
Yeah.
And this land has knobs back there. I've also got timber, marketable timber.
How much timber you think's back there?
I'd say probably marketable, 80. You know, taking 80 off of it, you wouldn't hurt it. But remember, marketable is what's, you know, good-sized trees.
Right.
You know, now if somebody got in there like or somebody, they'd skin them woods out. You know, they'd walk out with $300,000 in timber.
Right.
I've seen them do that before.
Yeah. Yeah, they kind of take a lot sometimes when they cut.
Yeah. Oh, they'll cut everything. You know, when you cut marketable timber, they leave the tops there and everything.
Mm-hmm.
All they're looking for is the log in the middle.
Yeah, you could make a lifetime living on selling firewood on just the tops.
Oh, forget about it, yeah. And there's a drawer going down through here that separates us from another field on the other side.
Okay.
Now, I don't know, I've never done it in this truck, but the weeds are real high on the other side. You might want to do some aerial photographing over there.
I can do that.
I'm just taking you around to show you where your vehicle can go. Yours is four-wheel drive.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. My wife always drives the pickup truck, and I always drive the mama car, but I can get more places because of the weight in the back. We always have a competition with that stuff.
I like a pickup. I always enjoy them. Now, right through here, I could drive through there. I know, basically the route.
Yeah.
It's just tall weeds on me, but that's going to lead to the other field.
Okay.
Now, as I mentioned, I might try to get in there, get my cousin going through there with the bush hog, but there's a creek that runs down through there, and it's going to feed into Bowen Creek also.
Okay.
All right. And that leads to about a 15-acre field, which we'll see from the road. I'll take you up the road and turn around up here.
All right. That works. You got a little bit of everything. You got some walnut. You got some oak. And
It all grows where it grows. But if you follow that creek all the way around, it's pretty awesome down in there.
all right.
When you look against the bluffs over here, you'll see the cave. It's pretty big. I don't think you can miss it. All this is mine.
This is all part of it here, huh?
Yeah, this is all mine, yeah. That's all creek bottom down through there.
Yeah, it is. That's beautiful.
Yeah, now you follow that water, there's a lot of pretty shots you'll get. All them bluffs and stuff like that. And it's gonna end right about, not this pole, but right up here. See where this wire fence ends? Right there. That's,
Okay.
That's the end.
That big beech tree there.
And it's going to cut across. You see where that clearing is and stuff over there. That's my neighbor's.
Okay.
Right. So I got the woody portion. He's got the cleared field.
Okay. That field is not part
That's
of
not
it.
mine, no.
Okay. How do I get down to that creek?
Well, you could actually park in that little spot where I just left, and you could walk down.
Okay.
From here. I mean, that's one direction you could take. It's a little steep, but I've done it before. Or, like I said, you can walk from the entry where my entrance of my gate is. Just walk down through that water, cross over where that bridge is. Anywhere, you could find your way down. Now, there's a field back there that's mine. Not his field, but I'll point it out to you. Yeah, you can see down in there.
Oh, yeah. It's absolutely beautiful.
It's nice down through there. I'm sure you could walk down through up here if you wanted. See, it's not steep right there.
Oh, yeah.
Just find a place to cross over. I always that's my field. Yeah,
Okay.
That's the one I want to cut. Just throw that away and keep this one.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I can only be here another half an hour, which is perfect for flying.
Right.
I can get all that stuff, and then I can come back and do all the details.
Get out here. You might want to get down in here.
Yep.
And look at some of. I mean, I got waterfalls and everything. Down
Oh,
there.
that's great.
And you might say, hey, I'm going to get over there and get a picture. You might spend a week here getting pictures.
Yeah.
That's what, I mean, to me, if I was in your shoes, that's kind of how I would play it.
Absolutely. No, that's what we do.
Yeah.
And so they call me the rainmaker because I make the phone ring. And then we call Ken Elmer because he keeps the glue together. It's like Elmer's glue.
Okay, all right.
We keep him, he's the glue that keeps the deals together. If you get a deal like this, people get all excited about it. And then you get closer to closing. Somebody gets cold feet or somebody can't get financing or whatever. You got to have plan B and a plan C to keep it together, and that's what he's so good at.
Well, I've looked at your website for quite a long time, and many of them was from New York, you know.
Yeah.
And I always enjoyed your website. It was informative, picturesque. Now I had this so smooth, but it got washed a little.
Just one little spot there.
Yeah, I'll try to fix that. But I always enjoyed your website.
That's
it's
great.
enjoyable to look at.
Yeah.
So I said, you know, when I said let me put it up for sale, I said let me go with you guys. You know, I says I think he's reached a nationwide effort.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, think about it. One guy puts a house over here, another one puts a house there, another one puts a house. This is a domain.
Yep.
And I think somebody's going to see it that way and want it. You know?
Agreed. Agreed.
And
absolutely.
you know, they're going to have work ahead of them, cleaning up.
Oh, they don't care.
But I'll tell you what, get in here and start getting dirty.
That's right.
That's
Amish don't care. They don't worry about working.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a good barn.
Yeah, it's a pretty fair barn.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it needs a little work on it here and there, but you could good storage for equipment. I actually thought of improving it and putting like a loft in it and making like a house out of it, but honest to God, with me, I was just piddling. I said, I got 20 years to piddle.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what I want, one step at a time. I took the stripping room off, the corn crib over there, and took that barn apart this year. I fixed the road, and I says, hey, I'm doing okay. Then I got sick.
Yeah, that stinks.
Yeah, it was a bummer.
Yeah. Well, you're on the mend. You'll get better.
Yeah. Hopefully all they're doing to me. I'm a Vietnam veteran, and the vets, I got to say, the president, he's done solid, man. It's changed the Veterans Administration around. They are so good. Everything top notch with me and stuff. And they've got home care attendants coming to my house now. They've got me, they said, listen, it's too far for you to come to Lexington back and forth. You're going to get, because I'm getting radiation every day. They say you're going to go to Danville here. So, I mean, God bless. God, I'm voting for him.
Yeah.
God bless, man. He's a good man.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
They're trying to slander him and stuff. I worked for him for 12 years.
Really?
Donald Trump, yeah.
Really? You doing what?
I was an engineer. I opened his first building.
Really?
Yeah, Trump Tower. I was the second engineer he hired.
Really?
Yeah. I've had a very interesting life.
It sounds it.
New York City boy, Italian, and roots in Kentucky, you know, my family here. I could show you pictures of my father when he came to this country, you know. I mean, how many, I consider it a privilege now when I look back on my life, you know. You don't realize things, but up in New York, I was a hillbilly. Down here, I was a Italian New Yorker.
City slicker.
That's right. And meanwhile, I could fit in both worlds.
Yeah. Well, that's the key.
I've eaten squirrel and rabbit and turtle and you name it.
And
hunted it all.
Prosciutto and,
And on the other hand, prosciutto. Yeah.
copa.
Yeah. It's funny. That was one of my dreams when I was coming down here. My daughters wanted me to raise Mangalisa hogs.
Oh, yeah.
Mangalisa is pure joy.
Yeah.
When you cure out the meat.
Cure 'em.
You know. Oh.
Yep.
And I said, yeah, I'll get some of them hogs. And my daughter's like, when? I says, when it's time. Who knows? It still might happen.
Still might happen.
Yeah.
Feed them acorns, and that's the good stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's not spec. There's what, spec? That's the lowest grade, right? And then what's the next?
Well, they got
prosciutto?
that wattle pig. You know, that's another good breed. Mangalisa has got actually Mangalisa still got wild boar mixed in it. That's what brings out a lot of that flavor.
Yeah.
But like you said, with the acorns, you feed them acorns, man, it snaps up the meat. You know. But yeah, I miss super sod and
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
like you were saying. You know.
Yeah, the copa, capicola, the all that stuff.
We could eat that all day long, man.
Yeah, oh yeah,
I
yeah.
still got places in my neighborhood that makes it, you know. I mean, you go in there and they're making the mozzarella cheese, you know, or the ricotta cheese, or the breads. You know, we still have bakeries. That's all they sell is they sell some cookies, but mostly it's just bread.
Bread,
you know?
yeah.
And you see lines of people just buying bread.
They know how to do it.
Yeah. Eating is a passion.
Yeah, it really is up there.
But yeah, I worked for Donald Trump from 1983 to 1995. It was when I worked for him, his dad was still here, and it was his first building. And I was always good in my career taking buildings from construction to operation, but I represented management, the owners. So I always worked with high-end people. John Tishman, I don't know if you ever heard of Tishman.
Tishman Spire.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that's right, Tishman Spire. Yeah, I opened a building for him. If you ever go to Times Square, it's on between 8th and 7th Avenue. It's half a block long. It's called E-Walk Building. Behind it on 43rd Street is the hotel attached. I didn't open the hotel. I opened up the E-Walk portion. It was all entertainment. You got theater in there, you had arcades, you had BB King's Club, everything. I knew them all, I'm telling you. No BB King, I sat in the booth just while him and his guys are just scratching, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, right next to him. And my kids, you can ask my children, I got 3 daughters, they're all in their 20s now. I was a single dad, and I raised my children. So many a time I had to have them on the job site. My kids would be on job sites with hard hats on because I was so good at what I did, and people wanted me to work for them.
Sure.
And Mr. Tishman, I remember one time he says, Riccatelli, he goes, they always call me by my last name. He says, Riccatelli, he says, is them your kids? He says, they just came out of BB King's. I go, yeah. He goes, now they're going into the theaters. I go, Mr. Tishman, they got free walk anywhere they want to go here, you know. I said, when they go over to the arcade, Broadway City it was called, I says, Len gives them $50 passes to walk in and they can play anything they want, or every kind of video. I would have, honest to God, there was parents that didn't like a male raising girls. I guess they thought something suspicious. These are my children, though. In the end, I had parents having their children accompany my children on weekends, all right, just to go to the arcades and stuff. They would go home, Ma, please, I have such a good time with Mr. Riccatelli and the girls. They're so good people.
Yeah.
So please let me go with them.
That's awesome.
I'd go in there. Hello Kitty was a store in the building. The Yankees Club was there, and they would go in any store they wanted and get free whatever they wanted because of me. I was the chief engineer, you know. I ran things. I was the building manager. I said when every store needed me for something,
right?
You know, to punch list, whatever, get them operational, to make sure Con Ed was there when they needed it and stuff. And I made sure, you know, my kids got back, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of fun.
Lifetime memories.
Yeah.
That's great stuff.
I'll tell you a good thing I did one time. My kids are bored. Bored of that. I said, how can you be bored? You got one of this whole building. I said, it's a 600,000 square foot building. I said, you got 13 movies you can watch every day. You got McDonald's. You got places to eat, whatever. They go, Dad, you don't understand this and that. We want to go to the beach. There's no beaches here. So what do? I'm an inventive kind of guy. I think back to the day when I was a kid. And when I was a kid, it was a classic Italian neighborhood. A Bronx Tale was filmed in my neighborhood. That's St. Joseph Church right across the street from that social club. I went to that church. Anyway, what did we used to do when we couldn't go to the beach? Well, we went on roofs. We called them tar beach, all right? All the sand that was left over, you know, I had tons of it, you know, that was left over from construction, things like that. I get bags of it, I take it up to my roof. My roof's just a deck, you know, like rock and stuff like that, nothing fancy. I made a beach. I put the canopy things, you know.
Very
I
cool.
put the chairs up there for my kids. Then I ran a hose up on my cooling tower, turned the sprayer on over here. I told my girls, come on, girls. I says, I'm taking you to the beach. They go, but you got to work this weekend. I says, come on. I took them up there. They were flipping out.
Oh, that's very cool.
They said, Dad, you're insane, you know. I says, now you got a beach right in the middle of Manhattan on 42nd Street. You look over the edge and every person in the world is suffering down there.
Right.
I said, and you got this spray coming out. I said, it's glory. And their friends and stuff, I got pictures of it and stuff.
Oh, that's very, very
And they were
cool.
little kids, man.
Yeah, that's very
They
cool.
loved it.
I love it.
Then when BB King's Club, I used to take them in there. And because I controlled everything in my building portion, they had to come out of the club, performers, to go into their dressing rooms and stuff. So I would introduce my kids to everybody. The Doobie, you name it, everybody I met. Eric Clapton, I'd hang out with Eric Clapton. And then my kids would be there, and I'd bring my girls and the wives and the band's girls, or whatever you want to call them, they would hang out with my children while the band was playing and stuff, you know. And Danny Ben Susan, I'll tell you another good story. The man that owned the BB King Club was a Jewish guy named Danny Ben Susan. So they're building the club out. Very small space on the front of the street. Very small. It's just an entranceway. But you go downstairs and they had another, I don't know, 80, no, not 80, maybe 30,000 square foot, whatever the club was.
That's a lot.
So Danny is trying to get things rolling. You know, as an owner, you're there, you got your GC, he ain't getting things done, one thing or another. So they got an opening date. Eric Clapton's supposed to be there. BB King's supposed to be there. And they called it the BB King Club, but it's only his name. He only performed twice a year. But he gets a cut of the action. Well, one day, somebody's talking, and I'm saying, who is this guy? And they said, that's Mr. Ben Susan. Because he was like in the way all the time. And I'm representing management. So when you tie into my services from the buildings and stuff, I got to make sure it's all done right. So I go to him and I go, what's your problem? You're not going to open up. I says, you're not going to have your gas. And gas is a special thing in the city. You got to have a shut-off valve out on the street. You got to have a shut-off valve as soon as it comes in your wall. It's got to be built in a certain way. Now you can use double sheetrocks and stuff, but then you had to use block. But his came in, then he had to take it to a kitchen where there had to be an automatic shut-off valve for protection. Then it ran all the way up to some roof units he had. It was a nightmare. He kicks the plumbing group out. I tell him, I said, you're never going to be open. You know, I said, you got a week to go. I said, you're never going to pass code. I said, you got leaks somewhere. I said, what you got to do is go from the start to the end and just keep tightening everything up. He says, I can't. I says, I'll do it for you. I said, you give me $10,000. And I says, me and a buddy of mine's going to do that. I said, we'll work straight through on this project. He gives me 10 grand. We get the job done. And I call Con Ed up, who I had contacts with. I said, send over an inspector. Usually it takes minimum 3 months to get an inspector over there. I got an inspector the next week. And Danny paid him off. It passed, and Danny got opened in time. So then he says, I need you. I want you to stay with my club. So he was paying me $400 cash a week just to stand and make sure the bar drains worked, the ice machine worked, and stuff like that. It was good. I made the stage. I built the stage in there, and it was great.
And that is in BB King? Is it the BB King Club?
Yeah. And to tell you the other thing that struck me so coincidental, Sion was his son's name. These were Israeli Jews, you know. Sion Ben Susan was his son's name. And Danny would kind of like let Sion and the other people work things. And Sion's telling me, I says, where's the groups that you hire sleeping? What, do you put them up in a hotel? He said, no, they're in Trump Tower. I says, no, they're not. I says, I worked in Trump Tower. You know, I says, I know this city. He said, no, my father's got an apartment there. Oh, your father's got an apartment? now this is possible. I left Trump in 95. So I go, what floor? Because the more expensive ones are higher and facing north and west. He says, 65th floor. I go, no way. I said, that was Donald Trump's apartment. I said, his father had the 65th floor when he built the building. Donald had 66, 67, 68. I'm sorry, 64th floor, he said. I said, no way. I says, that's got to be like 150,000 a month, just a month in rent. He said, yeah, it's something like that. So I get Danny when I see him. I said, Danny, I got to talk to you about somebody that we have in common. I said, you got an apartment over at Trump Tower? He goes, yeah. I go, what floor? He goes, 64. I go, north side? He goes, yeah. I go, holy shit, that's right under Mr. Trump's apartment. He goes, yeah, how do you know? I go, I opened that building. I says, I opened it from construction to operation for 12 years. He said, no kidding. I says, you know, we started talking about Trump and his family. I said, what a small world.
That is a small world.
And I asked him,
at that level.
I said, what are you paying, you know, for your entertainers to stay in that apartment? He goes, you know, he tried to like bounce it around and stuff, and he goes, 125. I was like,
yeah.
I said, this guy's that rich that they can afford 125,000 a month. You know.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
If I could show you, like in my last building, it's 100-year-old. It's been all modernized now. But if World Trade Center planes would have hit my building, nothing compared to what they did to the World Trade Center. But I'll show you my old building. Let's get in the shade.
Okay. My glasses.
This is a picture from 1917. It still shows you the building, but nothing around it. Just imagine now, this is 8th Avenue and 34th Street.
Oh, geez.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, this is where the New Yorker Hotel is.
Okay.
If you've ever seen the New Yorker Hotel. Mm-hmm. This is my building. That's 5 Penn. It was an industrial building at the time. This is the post office. If you ever go to New York, you see them long steps coming up?
Yeah.
That's the old post office building. That's now a train depot, you know, this trains.
Huh.
And the Madison Square Garden is right over here. This was my last building. But what I wanted to show you was what we did to it. How we've converted it now. We had CNN up on my building when the World Trade Center got hit.
Because you could see it.
Yeah. Well, if you ever look at Manhattan, Manhattan's got 2 skylines. Downtown, because it's bedrock there. They can build these big buildings. Then there's a low spot, and then there's Midtown. And that's where it comes up again. That's the Empire State Building. It's because this swag in the middle.
Right. Like actually, Chelsea and all that like that.
Yeah, Chelsea and stuff. It's all mud, really, or dirt. You know, and it was too deep in the old days to drive pilings. But now they do. They're starting to build in that middle area, but okay. This is my deck. It's at nighttime.
Oh, geez.
But this was a setback, and we ended up putting flooring over it, plants, stuff like that. This is Madison Square Garden from the front of my building. You know,
yeah, you're right there.
Across the street.
Yeah, you're right there.
Yeah. And I wanted to show you. Oh. This is this $29 billion project. It's done now. All right, it's the west side. There was like 25 acres where the trains used to pull up on the west side. They built every building here over it.
Really?
Yeah, and you can see, this is looking up 33rd Street. That's the post office across the street. This is my building. But you see the beginning of the project. Then this is a video.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, you're going to see, that's the Hudson. I watched that plane crash and everything in there.
Yeah.
This is the post office down here. But you see how the buildings are shorter?
Yep.
Mine's taller. That's Jersey City. This is downtown. That's the Freedom Tower.
Yep.
You see everything's lower. Here's the garden.
Yep. Wow.
That was the
right
view
there.
we had. Nothing in front of it.
That's
Mr.
crazy.
Hames, the guy that owned it, is a billionaire. Oh, here's a view. There's the Empire State Building from my building.
Yeah. Just a little.
Yeah, you're looking down 33rd.
Yeah.
There's the garden
Yep.
downtown.
That's downtown, yep.
Yeah, that's that project that they were building.
Mm.
Now it's 7 buildings.
Over
And,
top of the train station.
Yeah, this was all trains.
Mm.
They built all these buildings.
God.
And this here was the post office. They made that the hub of the Long Island Railroad.
For the
That's
trains.
where the Long Island Railroad used to only, I mean, it pulled in under Penn Station and stuff. Now it pulls under there. And they built it. Tremendous project. $29 billion. But
That's crazy.
this is the industry I used to run around in. People I knew would freak you out.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I mean, I dealt with them like they were people, you know.
Sure.
John Tishman, this is the God's Honest Truth, one night comes up to me and goes, I want to discuss windows. I said, what kind of windows? He said, I don't like what they've got for my building, the one I'm building manager, chief engineering. I said, but Mr. Tishman, you got these windows already. I said, they're all in the basement. We're going to install this and that. He says, no. He says, get the carpenters to build a shanty out on the roof tonight. He says, get those windows all installed. I'm going to send you more. I says, okay, whatever you want. You know what they charged him to build a shanty? $35,000.
Oh my God.
A shanty. Just to get it done quick, you know?
Yeah.
He says, I want this done. They built it. We got all the windows he wanted, and I went to Kmart and bought lamps just for the lights, and I put them inside. We ran electrical, and that night, him, about 4 other engineers, mechanical engineers and stuff, they stood there looking at it as the light changed, things like that, and he determined which windows he wanted in his
There
hotel.
you go.
Can you imagine?
Got it.
Can
Yeah.
you imagine? I said, sick money.
Yeah, that's sick
You
money,
know,
yeah.
sick money.
Yeah.
I could tell you how people used to throw money around. It was nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Nuts. Mr. Trump too. You know?
Oh yeah, well, I'm
Yeah,
sure
all
those
of
are
them,
those are
all of them.
rollers. I can't wait to see your comments below. Like and subscribe because we've got a number of properties coming on the market that you're going to want to see. Don't forget to go to our website, bluegrassteam.com/blog for the latest properties we have.